all go a little mad sometimes.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I'm gonna be a fucking star. Lee.
And I'm going off to war.
And
What was it,
listening to-
Vietnam? No, it wasn't Vietnam.
No, it's the First World War.
World War One.
Yeah, it's Nam.
And you're listening to...
They're here.
Oh, I was gonna... Never mind.
Oh, but then you didn't, though.
Yeah. We're never gonna... We're never gonna get that right again, are we?
No, it's part of our charm.
Where we discuss
And dissect.
all things horror.
Fear.
And the ASMR.
There's cobs in this movie.
There is,
She
but
throws
there...
hot cobs on her mom.
that could be a porn right there.
It literally is, though. It is. It's the farmer's daughter.
Except it's... Actually, come to think of it, that was my first note that I kind of had on Pearl 2022, directed by Ty Weston, written, produced, and also acted by Mia Goth, was the fact that the whole kind of like, based off of like what we did last week, which was Halloween Ends, was I was like, how I was a teenage serial killer.
Yeah.
Was like, this is how you do that story correctly.
Yeah, you just make her crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I also love the fact that like kind of jumping ahead a little bit, she's just always been a horny bitch. Like, it's
Yes.
not just that she was old and unfuckable at the in X. It was the fact that she's always just like wanted this.
She wants to hop on the good foot and do the bad thing all the time.
And I feel terrible for Pearl.
You do.
Like,
So
I
this
actually
was
really
like,
love her so much. I just want to hug her.
she puts a human face on pure insanity.
Yeah.
She makes you like, this is the part where like, I mean, apart from like her like what 6 or 7 minute monologue at the end, that like she makes you not necessarily like it's like opposite to like Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker, where you're sort of conflicted whether you're rooting for him or not.
Yeah.
And then where in this, like, you are rooting for her, like
Yeah.
you are sympathetic to her blights and her problems. Like the whole
It's
time.
almost kind of the Eileen Wuornos kind of effect,
Yes,
where
yes,
it's like,
exactly.
Look, I don't like.
I think if it was a man,
Yeah,
like,
you know,
I think entirely.
I also don't fully recommend going out and killing people because you don't
Yeah.
know what you want. But I think, like, I don't know. I feel like this movie could have been avoided. Like, I feel like the plight of Pearl could have been avoided. But then, I don't know. There's something really, really like depressing about this trilogy. I'm gonna assume Maxine is gonna also kind of
play off the idea
that life is harsh and it's bleak. You know,
Yeah,
that
I think the
monologue made me really
disillusionment thing.
depressed.
Yeah, you know, I get this sense that Pearl just...
Damn it, I just really want to be fucked, you know, just really
Fucked.
She
That's
is
so
frustrated.
inappropriate. I fucking love that episode.
So, like, let's break it down. So, like, the basic kind of, like, not the synopsis, the plot is, like, Pearl's X factor, see what I
Yes.
did there, is stifled when her mother's forces her to remain at their family farmhouse
yeah.
to take care of her ailing father and animals during the Spanish influenza outbreak
That was
of
a
the
very,
early
very
1900s.
clever way to get around COVID.
That wasn't
Yeah.
it? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was so smart. I thought that was such a brilliant, like, little twist, and I was looking at that going like, this is a little too on the nose.
Like, how it is to live through a pandemic.
Exactly.
But it was kind of cunt, though. I kind of loved
It
like
was.
the visual of it, though.
Yeah.
Like her mom
Sitting in
she's
the
going
cinema,
out.
everyone wearing the mask. Yeah.
It's like, haha, I do that. You know?
Do you remember when we went to see, I think it was Akira?
Akira was the first movie I had seen post-COVID,
And,
and,
like,
I
we
was
were-
terrified.
Yeah,
to
we
have
were
my mask
concerned. It
off.
was like, should we be keeping the mask on or should we keep the mask off?
I think this was kind of right when everything was starting to like open back up, but with still like heavy measures. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like I don't know if I want to be like getting popcorn and like
Yes.
sitting down and then like washing my hands after every bite because I was like, you know me, I was so paranoid during
Yeah.
COVID. But like,
And
Yeah.
in a way, you're kind of correct. I mean, like, also, like...
I
the
mean,
fact-
it worked. I never
the
got
fact-
COVID once.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that we, like, are sitting here today for what, like the better part of nearly 3 years now.
Yeah.
And still technically haven't gotten it. I mean, like it's a miracle. So like,
I also think it's because I was kind of playing the dirt kid though. I feel like
absolutely,
not to jinx anything, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I have a pretty good like immune system because I used to like, I don't know, fucking like eat dirt and play with bugs and stuff. You know,
we definitely had our fill of making each other eat dirt when we were younger. That was definitely...
We didn't have phones. We didn't have shit else to do.
We didn't fucking...
I mean, we make it
just
sound
like
like
this
we
woman.
were playing with like wooden blocks and wooden toys. It's like this is literally like 2001 or something.
Well, for you, I mean, like, I played with rocks.
Little wooden horses.
A little...
Yeah.
I was going to say a little straw doll.
An abacus.
Yeah.
And stuff, you know.
I just, like, rattled
Corn
it like
husk
crazy.
dolls.
I mean, like, it's the same with Pearl in her situation in this. Like, she is, like
She's
how do
a
I describe it?
Cinderella type.
Like this, like, and I hate that kind of thing where we, how do you say it? Like we're human. We're going to compare this film to like so many other things, and it's wrong. Technically, in a way, it's wrong for us to do it. But
it's the nature of art.
Nature of art is you're always going to, whether you want to or not, subconsciously compare it to other things.
It's how you. It's your like way of measuring what you like, though. You
and
know,
I think, how did you describe it? Like you said, I think you said Wizard of Oz.
It is. I think that
there are parallels.
There definitely though, like very definitely. I think there is kind of a parallel between Pearl and Dorothy, but it's kind of. Again, it's twisted in a way, like it, and it's very subtle. It is very subtle. It's just the fact that she like lives on a farm. I think that like the pandemic is the tornado.
Yes,
because it's I think what sets her off. Because I think had there not been a pandemic, Pearl might not have been as crazy. Now. Yeah, she would have been the fuck out of there. You know, we have. I'm gonna say, well, maybe like. The projectionist is maybe like the wizard or something like that because he introduces her to this other world, shows her the porn and stuff,
gives her the you know, he puts the stars in her eyes,
exactly.
Shall we say?
She like had no reference for this before because she was like, what is it? Is this legal? Yeah, you know,
slut.
And then also she fucking has sex with a scarecrow.
Yes.
You know, her dad could be a tin man because he's confined to this like metal frame.
Yeah.
I feel like I am.
The mother's the Wicked Witch, practically.
Yeah, definitely though. Yeah. I feel like I am kind of reading into this a little much, but
those parallels can very easily be drawn. You know, and also to mention, like, this is technically like the year that this film does come out is 2022, but it's set in 1917, which is actually the time that the author wrote, you know, all of those books. Yeah. It's like. So it's kind of hard not to draw those comparisons, especially like the way the film is shot as well, as it's very poppy Dreamfield sequences, and it's shot beautifully.
It is.
The
it's
soundtrack
stunning.
is
it's like a
beautiful.
Disney movie almost.
Exactly. It's the same thing. Like you know the way like the credits roll and Pearl
the white
shows
comes
up.
Yeah,
it just makes me think of you know, I can just imagine like two little cartoon little songbirds like floating up and picking being like the words away.
You know, like how they open like they
used
to
book,
open old
the
Disney
dream
movies
book.
where it'd be like this the basic story of it, and then it would open to like the first page being the first
exactly
scene.
Like it does feel very and I hate saying that word surreal because then it makes it sound like it's a trip, but it's not. It's
old Hollywood.
It's old Hollywood kind of glamorizing, putting like a filter over it, shall we say.
I think it does kind of what X did successfully for me, at least, was, again, I think like you didn't so much live for X, I think, in the way I did, but I kind of knew you would for this.
Yeah.
Because I think like I went in there just wanting a good slasher for X.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we got. I think,
it was delivered.
I just think having the A24 logo attached to it made us kind of expect like, okay, more. Now what's... And I do think it did, though, because we have the kind of like old age thing and how...
The twist of it.
Yeah, and how like... it's genuinely heartbreaking, these two movies. And also, I have a little bit of faith in Ty West just because I figure this is... I know we've been mistaken before with the new Halloween trilogy, but I think that this might play out better because he had all of this in mind prior to even filming X. So there is a
Yes.
beginning and end point.
Yeah, I
So I don't
remember.
think this suffers from the being the middle part.
Yes.
It's completely separate stories.
I remember you saying to me after like the credits were rolling on X, I remember you turning around and saying to me like the prequel has already been filmed and like all of this, and I was like,
Yeah, shot
there's a
back to back.
fucking prequel? I was like, I didn't even fucking know this. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I saw like I think it was like after the end credits, it was like one of those like Marvel things where like they show the trailer at the end of it.
Yeah,
and I
we
was
didn't
like,
get that though. I was
what?
so pissed.
And I think I think you showed it to me on YouTube or something. I was like, "There's another fucking film.
Yeah,
there's
it was
another
shown,
film."
It was shown at South by Southwest, and that's how we got like. I saw the leaked version of the trailer because they
Yeah.
didn't play it at the end of ours, which was kind of annoying. Also, I just want to say this movie was very hard to come by. I was not
Yes.
able to see it in the cinema. It only just got released physically now, but like
It
been
didn't
out
get a
for
wide release here.
No, but
I
neither
don't
did
think.
X, really. You know, I kind of go on the assumption A24, I'm probably going to have to go to the Lighthouse to see it.
Yes,
You know?
Yes.
Although, to be honest, I did see... Oh, well, yeah, no, I saw
for a
it.
distribution company, I mean, like we have total faith in them.
Get it
but for a
together.
distribution, yeah, like do you know what I mean? Look at I go
that's
like,
your part.
why? Wait, hold on,
You know?
what?
But think about even for the Lighthouse, that was a fucking nightmare to see.
Yes.
'Cause that came out...
We saw
like,
the Lighthouse
months
at the
before we
Lighthouse.
saw it.
Just saying. I love saying that. It's so stupid, but I love saying it.
I was going to say, every person we met, you were like, I'm going to see the Lighthouse at the Lighthouse.
Everyone was looking at me as if
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?
it was totally that. It
Is that
really
Heather's?
was. Yeah, it's Heather's.
Okay, cool.
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast? We have a new soundboard, y'all. I'm just
Well,
saying,
for
I'm gonna
real,
flex it for the
This
next
was
like
just
few
like...
weeks.
This was hard to get onto, but
Yeah.
that built the anticipation so much for me. And then, like in the meantime, between this being announced and coming out, and us getting to actually see it, Maxine got announced too, which is the third part,
Yeah.
which I'm very happy
Before
about.
I'd even seen really anything, I mean, I know it's the downward spiral of Pearl and all that kind of thing, but before I'd even seen this movie, Pearl, I'd seen the teaser for Maxine, and I was like, "Wait, what?" It's still the same thing. I was like, "I am way behind on everything."
But that kind of does give me a little bit of faith because we were so horribly let down by the Halloween trilogy. I was kind of like,
Yeah.
they did not have all that in mind. I
Yes.
don't fucking care. If they did, they should have introduced Corey in
Film
2018. Yes.
Yeah.
Then I actually would have gone completely along with it.
Yeah.
But with this, in X, like we have the, I don't like blondes or like bohemians and stuff, and
Yes.
we get all that kind of tied up in this. Like we get all that set up, and it
Yeah.
is like a good set up punchline. So I think Ty West did do his research, and I'm not like the biggest Ty West fan generally. I didn't really like You're Next. I don't know. Like I don't like. It's not that he's a bad filmmaker. I don't think I like his like visual style usually, but these two movies have like really done it for me.
Yeah, because like I mean, X was obviously set as like it's a 70s porno, and
This
it
is
was
true, though.
shot like a 70s film. It was
Yeah.
on that grain in the movie, like
gross.
it was gross. That's what that was it. I remember you saying that specifically. It was like it felt. Even though like it was just a normal scene between like I think it was two people talking or whatever, it still felt like there was.
I could see
there
like cigarette
there was
burns on the
cum
film.
grain. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. It's like they did a good job of doing the thing I think kind of Rob Zombie and stuff like that aspires for, where it's like this actually looks like a movie from then. You
Yeah.
know, like there's no big obvious filter over it. I just think like I don't know. I think Ty West like managed to pull it off well.
Yeah.
And that translates into this, a la because we're saying it looks like a Disney movie. It looks
Yes.
like a movie from the 20s, It looks like those are like Gone with the Wind or something. So we open up, speaking of cinematography, we open up it with the same barn doors.
Oh, with the two opening,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought it
And
was
that kind of like,
gorgeous.
kind of
Yeah.
like
The Snow
choir
White.
Disney Snow White
Yeah.
music. Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Even the score for this, again, like it's again, it's like way more innocent and stuff like that because
Yeah.
like again, repression and stuff. Like in X, like the soundtrack was a lot of just like
yeah,
like just sexy and stuff, you know. And it was all kind of out on Front Street, but like with this, it's like Pearl doesn't have that like freedom to be openly sexual, That's why she does the stuff that she does, and we do find out that her mom like knows about it but didn't say anything. But then her mom also kind of alludes to other stuff.
Yes.
I see what you do in private. You know, and it's like, that was so much more Russian than German.
I definitely just want to talk about Mia Goth for a second. So I definitely have this thing where when it comes to actors and things like that, and I had this problem with what's his name, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga in The Thing. It's like I didn't see their characters, I just saw them, and I thought I might have this problem with Mia Goth in this film specifically just because of what I'd seen in the previous film, where I was like, oh, it's sort of hard to differentiate the two. You know what I mean? Like it's the same actor.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. But they definitely did. Well, that got me. I didn't know it was her, like, in both until the credits.
Oh no, what I mean is like her playing Pearl in this movie and her playing Maxine in the previous film. So I was looking at it going like, how am I going to think like I'm just looking at Maxine? So that was my worry going into this film. Is that I'm just going to see Mia Goth phoning in a performance or anything like that. But to be fair and to her credit, like she disappears behind the disguise of Pearl. She completely throws herself at the wall when it comes to her performance in this, and like to be fair, I've yet to be let down by her. Like A Cure for Wellness,
actually only watched that for the first time the other week.
All of this,
I liked her in it.
The story was disappointing, but her acting was really good.
When I saw that, I was like, she's a baby in this. I was like, she looks like 14 or something.
You know, Suspiria, all of these films where like you know, she deserves like the credit that's given to her. She like completely disappears behind whatever character she is portraying, and like this is no exception. Like she has that beautiful innocence, that kind of Dorothy Gale innocence about her, and then she turns around and she stabs a fucking goose. So like
that's like the first thing
I know.
Do as well, though. And Theta, the crocodile, she feeds it to the crocodile, who I'm assuming is like the mother or like grandmother crocodile to the one that we see. Like, then, you know, it's very Betty White in Lake Placid.
Yes.
Like she's been feeding this thing, you know.
She actually, the funny thing I actually looked up that and it was like, where did that name come from? Is that Theta is actually Theta Barra, is the famous silent film era actress who was nicknamed the Vamp on account of her gothic aesthetic and her sexualized gothic aesthetic. And I love that. Because immediately I look back at that and I go, okay, Ty West, I see what you're doing there.
Yeah,
I see you. I know what you're referencing, and I know what you're implying here. That she's the female, and she's, you know, behind the thing. She's fucking evil and all of this kind of thing, which is great. I love that.
There's that one photo of Marilyn Monroe actually painted up to be like Theta Barra, and she's I think she's supposed to be like Theta Barra as Cleopatra, but it's Marilyn Monroe as her, and it's like Marilyn Monroe was painted very, very dark in the eyes. It's actually very Susan the Banshees, where it's like this like straight out jet black eye and like this like really short black hair. So I kind of like that for just the idea that this crocodile named after or this gator named after this like movie star or whatever, you know. Like Pearl's like us. Pearl is just like a little film buff. Yeah. You know, she's like risking punishment for spending extra money, 8 cents on the
whole 8 cents.
Pearl, there's 8 cents missing from here. And risking like safety and health, to go to the fucking movies. I like heavily respect that, you know.
I do think that like she has Mia Goth, when she, especially this one, is like she has that explosive like almost like psychotic emotional range to her. Exactly, like,
and she goes for it.
And she goes for it. That's what I mean. Like when she throws herself against the wall, it's like she does it with abandon that I absolutely buy into.
And I could see that being funny. I could see it reading too much, but it doesn't though. Like she reads as like genuinely unhinged, but not in like a Patrick Bateman kind of way or something like that. In like a, oh, sweetie, you know, it's like it's just, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
you know?
I take it as like she, not that she's farther down the rabbit hole as him, but I take it as she's the Ed Gein character, where she's like the out of towny, you know, lives alone type
Daughter of a
deal.
German.
Daughter of a German. She's the outcast, and that same thing. Like Augusta, Augusta was her name, and she was also German, and she had fled from the war in Germany at the time. Ed Gein's mother. Same thing here. Like Ruth is like, you know, is the Augusta. I have it actually here. Ruth is the Augusta Wilhelm Gein of this film.
Yeah.
And like Pearl's character is the Ed Gein, is like she's completely under the thumb of a domineering mother and a disappearing father. And not that there's the, but like it's very just, she's very Christian, she's very controlling, and specifically just with the sort of the Spanish influenza pandemic.
That's
thing,
where the
like,
dad is all fucked up.
Exactly, at that, like she has seen what the outside world does to her protective circle.
Yeah.
And she wants to close off Pearl to that, and yet Pearl is the antithesis of Ruth's character, where in a way that she needs to, because her husband is obviously off to war, and she explains a lot of that later on in her monologue, that she needs to get out in the world. She needs to express herself, first of all, sexually, artistically, being a dancer, because she wants to be one of those.
She's a bad dancer,
line
which
girls.
makes it sad.
I also, that dream sequence where she was sitting on, or she was standing and performing on stage, like she was out of sync with the rest of the girls the whole time, and I was like,
it's just the nightmare of being mediocre. You know, I know that sounds terrible, but these are the things that like really scare me about this movie, is the idea that it's like, just because you want something bad enough doesn't mean it's going to happen for you.
Yes.
Or just because you're really passionate. It's the I spent 100 hours stoning this, and it's like, got it, but it's still terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that sucks, you know?
Yeah.
And I think like, I like how diametrically opposed Pearl and her mother are, because they have, right before their little tussle, I say tussle like her mother doesn't have a burnt at the end of it, but like they have a conversation. They have a kind of a number of conversations. This movie, this is a very Pearl and her mother movie. Like
yes,
the mother is played as the villain because Pearl is our main character, and we're supposed to be endeared to her, even though Pearl also is kind of fucked up. Where Pearl is like, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but she's like, I want more for myself. I want more from this life. And then the mother is kind of like, life is not about wanting more for yourself. It's about doing the most with what you have, you know? And it's like, you read desperation on the mother as well. You know, that's why this whole kind of story, at least Pearl's section alone, is like, it's very sad.
Well, that's
The
eventually
mother is crying herself to sleep, because it's like, we're poor, I'm German and ostracized, we're in the middle of a war, my husband is fucking catatonic, I'm supposed to be his wife, not his mother. I have this daughter that like wants to abandon me
and leave. But
then you also feel like, why shouldn't she want that for herself also?
Yes.
Like the mother is a weird midpoint between Pearl now, or Pearl in this movie, and Pearl in the next. You know, it's like if the mother had continued to live, she would have been an old lady on the farm with getting nothing from the husband at all. You know, just
and
desperation.
You see, the thing is, like Pearl, the sad kind of situation of it all is that Pearl resigns herself to becoming her mother in the next in X, is like the one thing that, because she agrees with what her mother said. It was like, you should be happy with what you have, not what you want. And she takes that on, and she becomes the embodiment of that. And I totally see that, and like, it's a believable, like, if I was to watch Pearl first and then X, I would understand that transformation.
Yeah.
So much more now than I did when I watched X. Do you know what I mean?
It's because with X we had like, we could only kind of read into it as much as we could kind of imagine or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, I also think it was very sad, because in X it's like, we see her see Maxine, like the exact duplicate of herself, which I wonder if that
was
kind of
deliberate.
Yeah, for sure. But I wonder if that's just
choice.
like a passing thing, or if there's like, they're going to tie that up in a way, because they are literally identical. You know, I don't mean in like a, ooh, Pearl is my secret grandmother or some shit like that, but I wonder if they're going to keep going with that parallel or whatever, because I'm assuming these deaths are going to play heavily into, or like the deaths from X are going to play heavily into Maxine, because she's a star, I'm assuming, but like, is she a star serial killer wise? Is she going to be blamed for all these deaths? You know, is that going to be her big break, is being known for all of this? But just like, yeah, when she sees her at the window and then you can see her like putting on the makeup and like brushing her hair and stuff, and it's just like, you're still here. It's what makes like the tragedy of Pearl so much like more, is like, we know she never gets off the farm, and we know she stays there forever and becomes her mother. It's so sad. It's terrible.
Yeah, I think also, I mean, obviously this suffers from being in a way, not that it's a detriment, because it was still pretty good, it was a good movie. I think it suffers that detrimental effect where it's a prequel. We know if we don't hear or know or see any of these characters beyond Pearl, that they're all going to die.
But did you not kind of figure that though?
I mean, of course, but like, I'm looking at it from not necessarily a film critic type of way, but I'm looking at it from like, oh, it's, we know.
Would you have
they're all
preferred
gonna
Pearl
die.
to come out first?
If
If it was chronological, like...
maybe, I think I would have looked at X as a spiritual successor, though. In a weird way.
Why? It's the same
I
place,
don't know.
same
'Cause
characters.
I know I would have looked at him and like, oh well, yeah, you know, that kind
I
of
don't know. I think they're. I don't know. Again, because it's not, to me, it's not just like a rando prequel. It's again, it's
It
kind
is
of,
a direct prequel.
Exactly. That's why I stood up for Halloween Kills so much, because I'm like, look, it's the middle part of what we then thought was a planned out trilogy. But with this though, I really do like. I mean, the pieces are falling together the way I would have wanted for that trilogy, for the other trilogy.
Sick bitch.
So like, speaking of sick bitch, let's get to the kills. These are just let's talk about it. So like, can I just say, this is how you do murdering right, you know?
Farm murdering.
This is how you do it correctly.
And I
it
believe
felt
she could get away with
correct.
this. Yeah.
Can I just say?
And I believe that she could get away with this.
Oh, she
Again,
absolutely
it's
could.
1917. There's already something going on. I mean, and we also see that she does get away with it because she's still living there in X, you know, and nothing really happens. But my thing I want to know is like, how does she get Howard on board? Because she kills Howard's family. Like, she kills Howard's sister and like her entire family, and Howard comes home at the end. And again, I actually thought he was going to be in this much more. And again, he really is in it for the last shot, and that's kind of
that really cool exploding body shot.
Oh, that
I
was so
fucking
cool.
love.
Yeah.
That was so
That was really
Tarantino
cool.
to me. I loved it
because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Almost, you know, because it was almost too much.
I loved it.
But I really thought, because he was kind of more antagonistic in that in X than Pearl was. Pearl was kind of, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're both kind of 50-50, I guess, but like, Pearl was supposed to be kind of a red herring, where we weren't supposed to really think it was her. We were supposed to think Howard was like the main thing, but Howard is also a killer in that movie. I think Howard kills more people than Pearl does.
I think Pearl kills. I think Pearl actually only kills the guy at the beginning.
Yeah, Pearl literally kills one dude.
Yeah.
And they have a sex slave in the basement or whatever. And we thought that car was him. Like, remember the car that's in the lake, a la Psycho?
Yes.
We thought it was that guy, but it's not. It's the filmmaker, or it's the projectionist.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. He's
only called the projectionist.
Good. Yeah.
I actually checked the thing, and he doesn't have any IMDb titles apart from the projectionist.
He is beautiful.
Oh, and Dad is just Dad.
Yeah, I can see
it's
that.
Like there's no name for Pearl's father. It's just.
But he's kind of
father.
just oh my god, I was going to say he's just decoration. That's a terrible way to talk about people who are like.
Go on, say it. Go on, trudge around it.
Vegetized.
Okay, so the way this sort of film kind of progresses, as I said before, when in comparison to the wrong way about it, which is Halloween Ends, is Pearl's sort of first of all, she has schizophrenia. She also has bipolar disorder, and she has depression. So those three things are a horrible cocktail mix.
Kind of Annie Wilkes.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So my thought process to this was, okay, well, she's displaying obviously these symptoms, which are A, she's killing animals, B, she has aggressive, explosive outbursts,
Out of
and
nowhere
she is from the way the film is directed and shot, she's in a dreamland the whole time.
Yeah, like
and
she
she doesn't
hallucinates.
seem to. She's got a sort of like dissociative disorders where she is dissociating herself from real life and how she perceives the world and how the world perceives her. And through all of her episodes, so I expected the film to go the same route, and it does it wonderfully.
Yeah.
It opens up with her already wearing her mother's dress, doing this kind of like beautiful like dance a la Suspiria, and then I predetermined what was going to happen because the shot was lingering on the door, and as the door opens up, the music just cuts dead straight away.
Yeah.
And it's just, she just drops her arms and her mother says, "Get out of my shit."
And that's really sad, because it's like the mom clearly is like the mom is like very not glamorous at all, but it's like you could tell like there was obviously a time where her and the husband were like a
Happy,
couple and
yeah.
and she wasn't so like bitter, I think is what it is, which
Yeah.
is not like a fuck you're bitter thing. It's like you really feel for this woman also, because she's also stuck on this farm with a disabled husband, like a severely disabled husband.
Yeah.
And
She is...
does everything herself.
Yeah,
'Cause
she's...
Pearl doesn't really do farm work.
No, she's not. Pearl's mother has to demand her to go out and look after the animals and things like that. And actually, Pearl does reveal that her mother killed off most of the animals on the farm before... I think when she's talking to the projectionist, or maybe it's her sister-in-law, that she says that mother killed off most of the animals because we couldn't afford to keep them or things like that. And it was like the mother gives off this, domineering sense, especially like any of the shots that linger on the house. You always presume that the mother is standing at one of those windows.
Oh, for sure.
I was
She says, "I can
trained
see
to
things
look
you
for
do
her.
when you think you're alone."
Yes.
So we get the idea that the mom knows that Pearl is killing animals. I mean, when we see her kill the goose, it's not like a for fun thing. I mean, she feeds it to the alligator, but like again, it's kind of inferred that she
does this before.
kills little animals.
There
or
is
she
a
does it
shot
with the eggs.
She
kills
squashes
chicks.
the eggs. Yeah. There is a shot in the trailer that did not make it into the film. I don't know if you noticed it. I actually put it up on our story the other day to tease this out. But there is a shot where Pearl is in the bathroom next to the bathtub, and she pulls the bathtub curtain across, and it reveals dead animals in the bathtub. It's a kind of like an overhead shot of the tub, and that was, I mean, that's obviously cut. I'm guessing what Ty West decided with that was it was too on the nose.
I mean, we have the kind of, we've seen
because I
it a
didn't
million
need to
times.
see it.
Yeah, like we already
Do you know
know
what I mean?
that like if you're a killer or whatever like that, it's kind of just inferred that
you've done what you've done before.
Yeah,
already.
I think the perfect example of that and using it right is Zombies. Michael Myers is showing that like he's not like rageful killing. It's not spur of the moment.
Yeah,
it's like he's the kind of kid who would kill his pets.
Yeah,
or
it was premeditated.
or have a dead cat in the bag.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's. I don't mean that's done just because that is something that does occur.
Yes,
but I think it suggests. I don't know. I think because my view is that Pearl wasn't born evil. I think that she was like, again, kind of Eileen Warnosed into it.
That is a whole fucking subject that we have definitely got to talk
Nature
about on the
versus
slab.
nurture.
Nature versus nurture. I want to fucking... We're going to do
Well,
like
they
a serial
tried to
killer
do it
month,
last
like
week
horror
with
movie.
yeah, for sure.
We're going to do it.
They tried to do it with Halloween Ends, and they
Like-
didn't. Ugh.
Okay.
I hate that movie.
I love the how we're praising this film, but we're using this film as an excuse to shit on the other movie more.
But I didn't actually see the parallels between the two of them.
Yes.
I was a teenage
Serial killer,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
But yeah.
I've seen enough fucking documentary series on Nat Geo Wild to know what intellectual and genetic tree Pearl was barking up at a very young age. But yeah, I think that the way, so the kind of the thing that I realize how she kind of, will I say teeters on the edge or snaps per se, is when the projectionist, like, how will I say it, like he sort of trips her up on her words.
Oh, the dog.
Where she says it's the dog, and it's like, what are you talking about,
What
dog?
did you say?
And then like he sort of trips, and immediately
He's
like
"Come
Pearl
on,
goes from this like sweethearted, like, the animals love watching me,
Yeah.
and they're my greatest audience, to, what do you mean? What did you say? And she's screaming at him, and like he's like,
you can see the actual wheels turning
the
in his head, being
terror
like,
in his face.
should I go or not?
Exactly.
Like, is she just having
Is she having an episode, or is she
just
gonna
like
do what I
this?
think she's gonna do?
Yeah.
And like
The whole time I was like, she's gonna reach for the fork.
I'm gonna
reaching for the
be
pitchfork.
honest, I fucking loved the shot. I mean, I knew the camera didn't even need to show it to know that she had picked it up. But the shot where it's a lingering shot, it's a one take shot where it just follows his back all the way back to the car, and it does this sort of like 360-degree turn of him looking at the steering wheel and then looking back at the barn. Obviously,
Yeah.
Pearl is gone, but it just whips around and she's
Right
standing
there.
right there, and then it's like, no one's gonna leave me, fucking right in the
who-
chest. Oh,
Then
so
she
good.
actually was giving me during her kind of breaks was Robert De Niro's Max Cady in Cape Fear. That kind of,
Yes.
because it's very southern,
Yes.
but it's very like, that performance is right up against the edge of camp, where I could see people laughing at it, but it was just like, oh god, this chick is actually lost.
She is
you know?
unhinged, and like she
She's not in
plays
control of her own
crazy,
actions,
like how do I say it, like like
a banshee
she
or
plays
something,
crazy,
yeah.
like she's like, the lights are on but nobody's home now.
Yeah.
She's on autopilot when she raises the pitchfork at him and stabs down. I do.
Like, she's broken. Like, she's had a psychotic break.
Yeah.
Like, Pearl is not
Like,
sane
her
anymore.
eyes are bulging. She's
Yeah.
got tears. Her face is cherry red
Yeah.
because of her screaming at him. And I fucking loved it. It's so good. And the fact that like the camera follows him in it's a Tarantino shot. I always love it's someone's back and their head on the shot, like handheld shot of in the backseat of a car as he rolls down the hill because he's accidentally pushed on
because he's just like slumped
and he's just
forward, yeah.
he's slumped forward, and then it just stops and he falls out. And I love that entire, like, I'm gonna say it was my favorite kill of the movie. Now, the Mitzi's death is perfect, but it's just that one shot, that tracking shot of him going to the car, and then it just whips around and it's her with the fucking spear, or not the spear, the pitchfork. It's just, that is honestly,
It's very the Don't Fear
It's
the
my
Reaper
favorite
kill
shot.
from X.
yeah.
Of like, again, it's a dude in a car that she wants to fuck who's trying to leave, and then he never
She kills him.
leaves, you know? Yeah.
But it's honestly, it's fantastic, and like, it's just more food for the gator.
Yeah.
I love it.
Theta.
Gets a lot of food in this movie, I'm just gonna say.
So I think, like, speaking of Mitzi, I think
Stepsister.
like, this sister-in-law.
Oh, yeah, sorry, sister-in-law.
So
yes.
I think like the audition is the tornado, because the audition, I think, is what makes her be like, in my mind, she's like, okay, I gotta get rid of all this.
Yes.
That's her, like, she's like, okay, if I can just make it to there, then it'll all be over, and like, I can have exactly what I want.
I can have my life.
And then so she gets to the audition, or no, first, like, the Howard's mom and sister Mitzi or whatever bring over this pig.
They show up with a spit roasted
A whole pig.
Oh, that's not a pig, that's a piglet.
Yeah, because it fits in like just a little bucket.
little
but then we
little
see it
white
just,
tray.
we
Like
see
what?
it like rot the whole way through and stuff.
Oh. And it looks like, how do I say it? Like it doesn't look like the pig looks like how X felt. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Nasty.
Well, it is, just
and
'cause
even when it was
everything-
fresh, it was gross.
Yeah,
It looked
Well, 'cause
gross.
it's just a cooked whole pig. You know,
And it was
because
like,
everything
covered
else
in like
in this
some
movie is
weird
very
shine on
pristine.
it, which I thought was just so gross. I don't know what it was about it, but I was like, I don't mind
Looks like it was
like
lacquered or
meat.
something.
And, yeah, like it looked like someone had just drizzled a load of honey or something on it.
Also, don't leave
to
it
like
outside
let
the
the
front of my
flies get it.
gaff.
Yeah, that's gross.
But then I think we have kind of a weird tension. I'm imagining a tension between, like Pearl's family in general and Howard's family in general.
And Howard's family, yeah.
Because Howard has gone off to fight the war and stuff like that, and Pearl's family are Germans, and like they're quote unquote poor, but also
They've got an
look at your
entire
fucking
farm.
house. You
Like,
have a
yeah,
lake,
look at you. Look
you
at
know?
that. You've got a gator.
for real, bro.
Fuck you.
And Howard's family are like rich, I guess.
I imagine like there's especially because the way Mitzi talks is that like she's the sort of daughter of like
not
some
cool.
old grandfather who was a plantation owner
Now listen
type
here.
family.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
right.
mean? Like
I'll
that's
say-
the
I'll
type
say
of
it.
especially
Yeah.
with those like sort of like Texas girl
little
blonde
ringlet
curl
curls,
turns. Yeah, like that's the vibe I got. Like her great granddaddy owned like
A
a lot of
Southern
black
Bill.
slaves type
Yeah,
deal. Do you know
for
what I
real.
mean? Like she comes from that type of rich white people kind of thing. You know what I mean?
because she shows up in this like furtsy dress. She's
Yeah.
got little lace gloves on
Yeah.
and all that, and they show
She's
up.
very
and
demure.
and it's hi, we came out to go help you and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And like
Because
I
we think you're poor and pathetic, but
and-
we have
yeah,
to
that's
help
why I
you
say I
because
think
my
Pearl's
brother is
family
part of
take
your
that
family.
as like an insult on their
Yeah.
pride, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they leave the pig outside.
Yeah.
Also, because it's a pandemic, her mom is very. I literally was
Oh my
Pearl's
God.
mom during the
Yeah.
pandemic, though.
I
No joke.
couldn't help but think about you
Oh, I was,
when that
though.
scene was just like she was
Leave it
keeping her
outside.
distance in the door. She was just like,
Leave it outside.
"You're not supposed to be here."
I'll stay behind this screen, though.
Yeah,
You know?
It was,
And that was me, though. I was like washing all my produce and shit like that. Before
And
putting
the
it
way
in drawers
Mitzi
and
reacts
stuff.
when Pearl tells her like, "I'm not. I think I'm sick" or something, and like Mitzi immediately is just like, "Oh yeah."
Just
no."
a little leap back.
I thought of you the whole time when that was going on.
I mean, again, it worked. There's benefits to becoming Rapunzel. you
It's
know?
true. Stick
But,
yourself up in that tower. You got nobody coming to call for you.
Oh, seriously, though, it fucking worked. I mean, it somehow still managed to get weed and stuff, though. But no, I think, like, the audition is kind of possibly the tornado, because it's what I think makes Pearl be like, okay, it's what makes Pearl go for broke. And be
Yeah.
like, look, this is my chance. I'm writing everything on it, even when she gets to the audition, which I do actually kind of want to talk a little bit in depth-ish about the audition when we get to it. But, like, when she gets there, she already has all of her shit packed.
Yes.
She's planning on leaving town that day.
Yeah, she got everything on the back of the bike too.
Yeah, for real. And she's
And
got
even-
the red dress on.
Yeah.
She actually looks more like Margaret Hamilton in Wizard of Oz than
I
Dorothy
was-
does.
So what
She's,
I
like, wearing
was
a side saddle on this huge
thinking
thing.
about it was whatever happened to Baby Jane.
What happened
kind
to
of-
Baby JJ?
Whatever happened to Baby JJ? Look
it
at
is
me,
very bad.
Blanche.
What you are, Blanche?
Yeah. But like the way sort of like, because like you have the juxtaposition between Mitzi and
Guess who's in a wheelchair now, Blanche? You are. I'd love to do
if
that
you
movie
don't
one day.
know, you don't know. So
Sorry. We're never going to be able to review that movie without just constant. For real, no. That whole movie review, when we eventually get to it, will just be continuously referencing Alaska and I almost said Aladdin and Alyssa.
oh, Jesus Christ.
Aladdin as Joan Crawford. Aladdin in a wheelchair.
Oh my god.
Aladdin in a sticky situation.
Oh.
You sick bitch.
So, no, hold on. Does she murder the parents? She does. She murders the parents
Not on purpose. Oh, well, she kills the
before
dad.
she goes to
Yes.
the audition.
Yeah, and then she brings...
I have that
yeah.
right. And then
So she
Mitzi is
goes-
the last one to die, right?
Yes, because Mitzi dies after the audition because she kills... I think she was going to kill Mitzi anyway, but she, like, doesn't want
I was
to kill
planning on
Mitzi.
killing him anyway.
Actually, I don't know, though, because Mitzi kind of shows up.
We see
without Pearl
Mitzi
knowing
is
it.
the antithesis of Pearl's character as well. Mitzi represents everything that Pearl wants
Yeah.
to go for, but the way that causes Pearl to kill her in the end wasn't the fact that she got the part, it was the fact that Mitzi was very like, how do I want to say it?
Like, it wouldn't have been a big deal to Mitzi if she
Yeah,
hadn't got the part.
because she says it at the when they're in the queue, like,
has
if
to be
not
me.
me, it's you.
It
I
has
hope
to
it's
be me.
you, and she's like, it has to be me the whole time.
Yeah.
And I love the way she's very non-apologetic about that. But
Well, yeah, it's
like,
the
it was
RuPaul
just
thing
kind of
you have to
like,
believe
I
you're
still
a
have
star.
everything, no matter what. If I don't get this,
Yeah, like,
You
yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean?
Like, Pearl's
Whereas
whole
this
life
is-
was riding on this audition.
Yes, exactly.
You know? And we see... And again, I think... Okay, so the audition, she gets there, and she's like... She's planning on, like, getting it. So, like, right before...
she doesn't look at Mitzi once the whole time.
No, like,
She's
Pearl
just
is...
like, I'm laser focused
Yeah.
on doing everything correct.
In Pearl's mind, this is, like, the beginning of the rest of her life.
Yeah.
You know? But, so she actually...
She
She
is-
tells her mom... She tells her mom about the audition, which I think was kind of dumb. But also...
No, she doesn't. She finds the
No, she
the thing.
Yeah, but then she tells her mom about the audition, and her mom was like,
Oh,
"You're not
yeah,
gonna have
sorry,
it."
it's
That's
a
when her mom
play
like
thing.
throws. Or no, it's when she
It's the
She
cinema
first-
thing.
Yeah,
the,
she finds the
playwright,
cinema
whatever
stuff.
that thing is.
But I love that shot of when they're across the table, and she's like, "Oh, I got some candy on the way home." Like from the bike because she
The
has to go
whole
and
8
collect.
cents is missing.
For real though, and they get that good liquid morphine, and she gets fucked up on the morphine.
I
She
love
takes a
that.
little bit of morphine before she goes to the cinema and sees
Yeah.
the Follies, which I thought was great. Getting fucked up before a movie is always fun.
It's always fun. It's a good time. It's a
Actually,
good time.
highly recommend if you don't smoke or anything, drink in the cinema. It's fucking great crack, and you're allowed to do it. But she goes, she does the thing, she sees the movie and sees the and meets the projectionist and stuff like that, and he offers her
Yeah.
a cigarette, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'm not sick" or whatever. And then he gives her like one frame out of the reel of thing, and I'm like, that's
Yeah.
so sweet.
Is he?
You know?
Is he the human chair?
No,
Who's the human chair of this film?
Mia Goth.
Mia Goth.
Yeah.
Really?
She's crazy, but it's still Mia Goth.
You're 100% on that?
100% on that. Country girls get it done. She would have had sex with a piece of corn if she needed to.
Yeah.
But this is kind of where we get our first like kind of piece of her being unhinged or being like, what the fuck is she doing? Because she like she gets the frame and she's on her way home high off that morphine, and the frame flies out into the field and she never finds it. But she does. I mean, she's the Jeeper Creeper in this
She
situation.
does find a
She finds
fucking...
a scarecrow
Yeah.
who she's met before. They have a rapport. She's done this.
Oh, she would hop on some corn if she could. When she's got a whole ass man stuck up on a pole.
Filled with straw. But I actually think the moment is really adorable. Gross. But I think it's like kind of adorable up until because
A
she
certain
like
point.
takes him off and she like
She dances with him.
yeah, and she dances
Yeah.
with him, and it's like oh, because when
That-
she's alone, she's a good dancer because it's her version of what.
Oh
she
yeah,
thinks
because
is
we're
going
only
on.
ever seeing how she feels about it.
And then when we see her actually audition, it's like
She's like a nut job. Yeah.
she is just kind of flapping around the stage.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, she has this great moment where she has him on the ground after the fact. Like, I say him, I mean the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
And this was my first clue as to the Wizard of Oz thing.
Oh, of course.
And she's like humping him and shit like that, and she gets the fuck off, but then she looks at him and she's like, I'm married! And then leaves. You know? Like,
But
this,
no, she sees the projectionist
or his face on the
like
on the
flash
thing.
in front of her.
'Cause she wants to fuck him.
Oh, of course.
But
I mean, they
she's,
do.
She's
But...
dear to Howard or whatever like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And he's
I'm married.
bohemian.
I do think there is a very strong confliction between her dedication to Howard and the life of freedom that she has, that she does want from her monologue at the end, because like there's we'll get to that 6 or 7 minute long monologue, but the long and short story of it is that she is basically dissatisfied with her entire existence, and because she has dissociative disorders, she has schizophrenia, she has everything, she feels like her one escape is that life, but everything else around her is encroached so much like fucking talons on her back that there is no other way out of this.
Like
apart
Howard was
from
her way off the farm, kind of, or
and
a way
then
to a better life.
When Howard was like, I want to stick with this farm and you have my kid, that
she's pissed.
She's like, oh no, this is
not going to work for me.
Not going to work for me.
Yeah.
But still, she has that sort of held out hope for him, which is why she has that confliction where it's like, I'm married.
Yeah.
All of that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
But it's weird because apparently, I think, just kind of by inference, I think Howard volunteered. I don't think Howard was drafted for some reason.
Yes, he left willingly for Europe.
I think that's why she's so pissed, because it's like, you chose to go off and like,
and she wants to go to Europe as well.
Yeah,
she wants to travel around with the she wants to do that
in the news and stuff, and even her mom is denying her that, because like, I think
she doesn't want to read the newspaper or nothing.
The war is ending or has ended. I think stuff is going on.
The war is
mom
there.
Is not interested. But for real, the mom is not interested in knowing any of this shit. So I think the mom also is kind of an Annie Wilkes kind of. She actually reminds me a lot of Margaret White, Carrie's mom.
Oh, of course.
Because it's like it's very easy to look at Margaret White and be like, oh my god, what a cunt, like she's a villain. But then on the other hand, it's like, but she was right.
Yeah, you see,
she knew
I was
that
just
if Carrie
about to say that.
And tried to join society, and when she did, they all did laugh at her, and they did treat her like shit.
We're all gonna laugh at you. Yeah,
it's tragic in the same way. It's like she just wanted the best for her child, but she couldn't give that to her in the way that she wanted to, and ultimately it ended up harming her.
Yeah, in the best of ways. No, but I definitely agree. I think the mother suffers from a hidden trauma that the film doesn't necessarily delve into, but it does hint at it. That, I mean, obviously she is an expatriate. She is German. She is literally the epitome of anti-American values. And European values in kind of a sense, because obviously Germany is the enemy of everyone.
German, you would let
in
your
World
daughter
War
have
One.
her fucking tits out.
Exactly, and like, you know, Marlena, you're a lesbian.
I said yes.
So I told him yes.
Fräulein Candice Kane.
And I died many years ago.
SoundCloud.
But like, she suffers from that unseen trauma of like, she's very weary of outsiders. She's I mean, they live on a farm miles outside of town to keep away from those who would technically, racism aside, but xenophobia, in the sense that she is a literal German. She is the enemy of everything that Americans believed at the time. So like, I can understand that. I can imagine, like, if she was to go into one of the supermarkets of the time, everyone would probably stop around her.
Yeah, like,
and like just be like, you know, literally like, you know, she's a German.
Yeah,
she's got that.
Well, that's why they send Pearl,
that kind of thing,
because it's like Pearl is like born to German parents, but isn't. It like doesn't sound German. Doesn't like.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't give that off at all. She's a country girl. Like, she sounds like she's from there.
She could pass.
Well, yeah. American passing privilege. But, I mean, yeah. But for this whole time, we hear that Pearl is like, Pearl just like wants to get off the farm, but it's not even that Pearl's life is like super hard. I feel like Pearl's life would be easier if she did kind of get along a little bit. It's just how resistant she is to everything about farm life. I think that's like what also frustrates her mom, is the fact that it's like, I'm fucking doing everything. Like, the mom is saying, like, I fucking do everything here, and like,
She
I
wanted
feel like
to be
she
the
would-
wife, not the mother.
Exactly, you know, and I feel like she wouldn't care as much if Pearl well, I feel like she would care anyway, but I feel like if Pearl just actually helped out a little bit, or because again, every time we see Pearl in the midst of doing work,
She's daydreaming.
she's twirling or going through her mom's clothes or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It's I do actually feel bad for this man.
When she's meant to be cleaning up her dad,
Yeah,
she's taking a bath herself and she's throwing water at him.
I thought we were getting some incest in this movie.
So
From
did
the
I,
trailer.
from that one shot.
From that, yeah, with the leg up in the air and
Yeah.
the dad sitting right there. I thought she was gonna molest her dad.
I did too.
Because she also kind of chokes him, and she's like, "Are you still in there?" and all this kind of stuff. But she's naked.
She's sort of choking him, but also softly caressing him at the same time.
She's naked
It's-
in front of him, and she's like, "I didn't want to waste the hot water." Yeah, well, I know you're poor, but there's a river right over there.
yeah,
But
it's
for real.
yeah, it's gross. There's some really weird shit with that, but. Can we get down to that argument with the mother? I think that's probably one
This is
of the
crux
most
where everything really everything is set up to this.
everything
builds
just
to
kind of
this.
jumps the gun after that point.
Yes.
Yeah. So
This is Carrie going to the prom.
yes, exactly. This is that penultimate moment for there's no turning back after this.
Defiance.
Yeah.
I'm telling you my plans and I'm telling you my intentions. And
Yeah.
because she's begging the mom though, because she's like, "Look, if you just let me go and do this, if it works out, I can also help you.
Yeah.
You know, we won't be as poor, and I can help you in ways that I can't now. But also, if I don't get it, I'll forget about it and I'll never come back to it again.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know, because in X we get that she was a dancer, but is she just lying? Because we see pictures of her in the studio,
poses,
and she
yeah.
is dancing.
Yeah.
So it's I wonder, did Pearl, after this happened, did she continue to make that happen? Did she go and actually become a dancer? Because we get the sense that she was kind of revered in X, that she was somewhat of a celebrity,
the Madame Blanc.
Exactly. We get the kind of sense that she did go on to be a line girl and become part of the Follies, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And then she got old.
It's so depressing.
Yeah.
I don't know, because there's 60 years between. Actually, no, there's literally 60 years between this movie and Pearl. So I don't
She's
know.
decrepit as fuck. She's in what? At least she's in her 80s.
Oh, she's old.
In X.
Yeah.
And she's we would say at least mid-20s in Pearl.
I thought she was maybe 19. I think
No,
she's
but
quite young.
she's married. She has a kid. I
Yeah,
would say at
it's
least
1917 now.
mid-20s. Yeah, I suppose.
She's under 25 at least. She's a young wife.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I would say mid-20s at the latest.
Yeah.
That's what she's portraying here,
Still
because
young
she
enough to
still
have to
has
obey
that
her parents,
innocence as
yeah.
well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even after she literally had an abortion, and she, all of these types of things, all of this type of thing, and she still comes across as this babe in the woods character at times.
Well, because she kind of is. She's played kind of infantile in that way, where she's innocent in the fact that she hasn't had exposure to a lot of stuff yet.
Yeah.
Not in the fact that she is actually innocent. You know,
Yeah.
It's we get to see her see porn for the first time, which I guess still would have been
a crazy thing. I was actually really surprised with the amount of footage that they showed. But
Yeah,
then again,
we
I
get-
suppose they were also doing
we get
porn,
to see
literal
vintage
porn
porn.
in X. But yeah,
we did
vintage
get-
porn.
we did-
Holy
oh.
hell, that was so cool.
we did get a full frontal. We did see Kid Cudi's dick in
Yeah.
silhouette, but still.
That was a...
That was a prosthetic, I think, because it was
was a
literally
big
down
dick.
past his knee in it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this
They-
audition. Finally, we get to the audition.
We did-
Or no, we get to the fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the fact that this murder was accidental. It wasn't intentional. So they basically, I
a
think
manslaughter,
she
it's not a
drops
murder.
she drops the kind of bowl of corn or something, and then the mother snaps, and then she snaps, and then they both just scream. And she screams at her. She pushes her up against the fireplace, the hearth.
She slaps her mom in the face and
Oh.
she hits her.
And her dress catches fire, and
It's
she
that.
goes up in flames. up in
very
flames.
Gabriel Byrne Hereditary. Like, she's just engulfed
Yeah.
in flames in seconds.
Yeah.
And even then, you can see that Pearl is not, like, relishing in it. Pearl, like, freaks out and is like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then picks up the big pot of, like, boiling water that the corn is in and
throws it
over
on
the
her.
pot. Oh, my God. And then
I love how the hair is like I realize she's half burnt on one side, but like I love how kind of correct they were saying, like the sizzling hair literally like burnt across the head to one side was a fantastic touch, because it was like that's exactly what you think, because like I always remember from what was it, Bennett Like Beckham, when she talked about her thighs being burned from being on the stove, that when her sister came in and threw cold water on her, like ice and cold water, like her skin came off.
Yeah,
with
you're
it.
like not supposed to do that.
You're
at
not
all.
supposed to, because like
Then you can go into shock.
you stop, drop, and roll, and you literally get the blanket to put it out.
But the
I
same
know
reason
they
you
didn't
don't
have a
pour
blanket,
hot water
but
over your car window when it's frosty.
Oh, yeah.
because the tension will make it snap.
yeah,
You know, and then she just drags the mom down to the basement and leaves her there.
I
And
love
she's
the kind of
still
plonk,
not
plonk,
dead,
plonk,
no!
plonk, plonk down.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
The
to me.
disrespect. But the mom isn't dead though. Like she's still just there, just sizzling. That's why burns are so shit. Because like the initial burn
It's a
is not the
slow
worst
death.
part. It's the afterwards where she's just down there resting in the same way you would rest a steak.
Yeah.
And that she's just cooking down there.
Yeah.
And then this is her way of being kind of like, okay. Or she has the conversation with the dad where she's like, it'd be so much easier for me to abandon you guys. Or it would be so much easier for me to do this if I didn't feel like I was abandoning you.
Yes.
So she still loves her parents in a weird, twisted way.
Fucked
I think
up
she
way,
just wishes
yeah.
that they would let her do what she wants. Because she even says in the projectionist after they fuck, she's like, it'd be so much easier if they were dead. And he's like, what? And she's like, nothing. There's so many little moments like that in this movie where she like lets it slip and is like,
the wall comes down like momentarily. I truly do appreciate the kills, because and I don't often like referencing Tarantino, but the way Tarantino builds up tension is so similar. It's not too dissimilar from the way Ty West does it. It's like that tension.
it's dialogue heavy.
It's dialogue heavy, but when that tension spills over the boiling point, it's just like everything's gonna happen now. The dog is gonna bite your face off, and your one is gonna burn in a fucking inferno in the pool. It's that type of thing where as soon as it tips over, everything happens
Hitchcock
all at
thing
once.
of being like, I could scare you for 2 seconds by setting a bomb off in a room, or I could keep you in suspense for an hour and a half by telling you there's a bomb under the table that will go off at some
And
point.
it's how you do
just
it right, in my
ratchets it
opinion.
up.
You know,
And then this is kind of like a third act, but this is like
that's how you do it.
this is like what the whole movie has been building to.
Yeah.
So then after, and she just leaves the dad there,
She just suffocates him.
and she goes,
She stuffs his face in with a.
No, she goes to see your man overnight first, and then kills the dad.
Oh, and then
afterwards.
kills him the following
'Cause
morning.
She goes
Yeah.
to the projectionist to like
They fuck.
they fuck, and then she's like, she brings him back to the farm or whatever. I don't know why, that was dumb.
Yeah, I think in a sense, she wasn't intending to murder him. She was. That's why, like, this is my dad. Blah blah blah. This is like, because he said he was like, he's bohemian and this, and he is technically so exotic to her in the sense that like he has experienced the world.
Yeah.
He can take her to places that her mother and her father would never ever go.
That's what she had hoped for Howard.
Yeah.
You know, the idea, again, it's the whole thing about going to Europe. And I dare say she does at some point between X and Pearl. I don't think she stays there forever.
Yeah.
Just because of, like, what we see in Pearl, or because of what we see in X, that we see a life that did happen.
Yeah.
But ultimately, she resigns herself to the farm, or is resigned to the farm. But, I think it's just, you really understand how disappointed she is with her life. Because it's like the idea of, okay, if I have this audition, I'm going to pour everything I have into it.
Yeah.
And then they just tell her, like, no, you weren't good. We're looking for somebody that's basically your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
So
They
sad.
basically describe her sister-in-law. I love it.
She goes, we have a lot of girls like you already in the lineup, so we need
Yeah.
somebody younger and blonder.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh God. And then Another moment that could have been very easily taken as comedy, when she's outside the audition, when she doesn't get it, and she's sitting there and she's just bawling, and I'm like,
oh, she's screaming into her forearm, and
like,
you're just like, oh
poor
my god.
girl. You just, because you feel that she thinks like, okay, look, I've murdered all these people, or I've murdered my mother and left my dad to rot, basically.
Yeah.
But if it results in me getting the life that I want, then look, that's a big sacrifice. I think she was kind of willing to make, or kind of looked at it as worth it, if she could get the life that she wanted. For a 7-city tour around America, she wasn't even going to leave the country, and then she just didn't get it, and it's just, this poor girl is just sitting outside this audition just screaming, like she's just wailing, and it's like, it's moments like this where I just want to like, it's okay, you know, you're gonna be okay.
You want to pick her up, you just want to scoop her up and be like, let me take care of you, that kind of thing. Even though like she's just like, she's fucking murdered, like, you know, no, she's only murdered her mother
by
up
accident.
Until this point. By accident, up until this point. And a goose, of course.
But you live on a farm. I don't feel like that's murder in the same way. But it's
well, I'm
not,
vegetarian,
though.
you're a meat eater, so of course you don't see it as murder.
But it's not, though. It's, you know, I think like, because she didn't murder it just for fun. She murdered it to feed to another animal. You know, I mean, like, that's... But that's not fucking...
I feel like the alligator was a second thought here. I think it was the second thought. Come on.
Oh, what? So it's like, it's less fucked up to like, if she ate it herself, it would be less fucked up than if she fed it to the alligator?
No, it's just like you were saying that you think like she thought thus far ahead that she's like, I'm just going to kill this so I can give it to the gator. No, she was like, I'm going to kill it now. 5 minutes later, I'll give it to the gator. That's my thought process.
I don't know. I think I mean, I don't mean to like.
Well, let me tell you why you're
species
wrong.
To make one species more important than the other, but I feel like it's a little bit less fucked up to kill a goose than it is to smother your dad.
She doesn't smother him. She stuffs his mouth with the pillowcase.
Yeah, that's smothering.
Because it's no. When I say that, I mean like we all think that she had both hands by his ears smothering. Yeah. No, she quite literally stuffed his mouth with the pillowcase.
I mean, she did plot to kill the dad in the same way earlier.
Yeah,
I mean,
true. Yeah,
ish. Because there's that scene when she brings him down by the lake, and has him right there
in front of Theda.
Yeah,
Theda!
Do you think that if the mom hadn't have come along at that point, that she
would have rolled him right in? Of course, absolutely.
I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
I think she genuinely loves the dad. I think she hates the mom, but I think she like, I don't know. I think she like felt worse about the dad death because it was kind of like, well, I'm not gonna not kill you now, you know, because like you fucking.
I don't have a choice about it. He's there the whole
time during that fight.
Yeah, he sees everything.
It,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I think this. So, well, I honestly, this is what I really want to get into, which is the meat of the thing. It's her monologue. This one take shot of this like 7-minute monologue.
Life is harsh and it's bleak.
It's basically just, and this is like putting a downer on it, but like it's basically a woe is me. I'm a serial killer. I hate my husband, but I love him, but I really fucking hate him. I also really hate you, but I really like you anyway because I wasn't going to kill you if you didn't get the part. And I had a baby, but it died. And
I don't think she wanted that baby though.
No, that's the thing. She got rid of it. She said she did.
It felt like sickness.
Yeah, like this whole monologue was just, and I don't think I blinked once. I was glued to the screen, and she gives a performance where like she goes through like every single range of emotion that entire thing. Even though like schizophrenics and psychopaths are technically not supposed to have their own emotions.
Oh, she's not a psychopath.
They're like this woman just goes through like happiness, fear, dread, anger, upset, depressed,
regret,
in tears,
disappointment.
regret, disappointment.
Yeah.
In 7 minutes
And
of dialogue.
I do feel for her.
It is so powerful, and it's just like on her face the whole time.
Yeah.
There's no cutaway to
No,
Mitzi.
Mitzi is just like on the
Mitzi's
other
just
side
like
of the-
slowly like distancing herself
Okay,
from the table,
cool.
and like that's exactly what she does at the end of it. She's like, "I'm gonna go now,"
Oh, kill me.
you know, and like it's so. I feel like the whole penultimate thing of this movie led up to that one moment where she's just like, I'm going to spill everything to you,
Yeah.
and I don't want you to judge me for what I tell you.
Well, I think
Do
it's
you know what I
rare
mean?
enough that we get the killer kind of being the main character. We
Yeah.
kind of rarely get to see, or we rarely get to have a moment where a villain, quote unquote, is like literally spilling their guts to you and just telling you exactly how they feel. Because it's like, again, it's the Eileen Wuornos effect for me, where I'm like, I also think she would make a really good Eileen Wuornos, though. I can actually really see
I
that.
would agree with you in that, yeah.
Or I think she should have played Shelley Duvall in Doctor Sleep. No joke, though. They've got a very similar face.
Yeah, I can see
More
that.
so than Alex Esso. That the chick.
If you threw her in that burlap outfit with the
little
check
black
shirt,
hair,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I could see that working.
Give her an axe.
Because again,
Tell her to cry.
I've said it on this podcast before. I think my some of the like qualification I feel for me to think that you're hot is gonna have to be a bit freakish looking. Because she's got really, really big eyes,
huge
and
eyes,
she's got small mouth, big teeth. Do you ever hear her speak in real life?
Hi, I'm Shelley Duvall.
No, not Shelley Duvall. Mia Goth. She sounds like a fairy princess. She's got a really high pitched, like really like British accent. It's crazy. But
she's also Portuguese. She's Brazilian.
She's also fucking Shia LaBeouf. I think they're married.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah,
this monologue hurts my fucking soul.
Oh, it does.
Because it's
like,
scary. It's everything that you're afraid of. Like, okay, this is going to sound like kind of art snobby or anything like that. The idea of trying to pursue your own life and not letting your life be in the hands of some big boss man or corporation or whatever is like, it's a scary fucking road.
Yeah.
And the idea of that you have to do it all yourself, and the idea of people not seeing what you want for your life being valuable, and then thinking that you really, really, really have to pour your whole self into it because you're ultimately only doing it for you. And then if that doesn't come to fruition, it's like, but this is what I'm supposed to do. This is like what's inside me.
What's there left to pull from?
If my art isn't going to pull me, because again, this is her wanting to like be an artist and show the world what she has, and they basically told her you're not good enough, and it's like, I also, if I could have given her advice, it's like, just go on another audition.
Yeah,
you know, this is not the be all and end all, but she really did kind of pour she
vomited her soul onto the table is what she did.
Yeah.
And she cried her heart out, and she gave, arguably in my opinion, probably the performance of her career so far.
I think she could be nominated for this movie.
I
I'm not
absolutely
joking.
believe that.
Yeah.
I think that,
because this is another one I could feel people being like, but is it really horror? I feel like it could slip past.
I think
we're over that now, though. I don't know why the fuck horror is so seen as like it can't be taken seriously. It makes no fucking sense.
it can't be taken as real art or real acting or things like that. I think we should just give Toni Collette her Oscar.
Where the fuck
was her Oscar? Fuck you.
If I actually ever win a genuinely big award, regardless of context, that will be my acceptance speech. Where the fuck was Toni Collette's Oscar for Hereditary, bro?
You're on the Met Gala carpet for the horror theme, and you're like, Toni Collette. Did you dress as your Oscar?
Where was Tilda Swinton's Oscar for Suspiria?
Oh my god, it was fantastic.
I don't know. It actually still really pisses me off.
So, Mitzi's death. Oh no, sorry. She goes down to her mother, who is dead at this point, and she imagines her singing in German. This weird little.
The little lullaby
German
thing.
lullaby rhyme thing, and she's just cradling. So her mother, she's imagining her mother cradling her, but what Mia Goth is actually doing is she's got her hands plastered to her mother's burnt face, pushing herself into her, and it is gross. It is one of those things where you look and you go I can feel and smell the disgustingly sticky burnt skin. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. That's what it feels like.
It's kind of
you know.
But again, this also gives me Carrie of the fact that it's like that mom. She died in that movie because of how overbearing she was, to the point where she was literally ruining Carrie's life. But also, she had the same information that the audience had. Was that like, you're going to fail.
Yes.
And like, it's gonna fucking suck for you.
It's gonna be disastrous.
Exactly. And you can feel that it wasn't
not just
so
for
much
you, but for everybody else as well.
How dare you have dreams? It's just if you go and do this, it's going to end tragically for you, and it's going to be really bad, and I'm going to be like, I told you so. And that's the reason why Margaret White dies in Carrie. But you can still see, even though Carrie Saint Sebastian's the fuck out of her mom, she's still like, oh, that's my mom.
Yeah.
And like, she still holds her at the end and still feels terrible because it's kind of all she had was her mom. But like, damn, dude, don't be a fucking bitch to your kids. Because the mom didn't even die straight away. We see that she kind of tried to get out.
She was still alive. She tried to crawl her ass up out of the cellar door. Like, I felt so bad for her.
Not only was she burnt, but she was also scalded by the hot water as well.
Oh, imagine the boils breaking out on her skin as well.
Being burnt hurts, but being scalded is just embarrassing.
How dare you show off in that one look that you got?
Just humiliating, you know?
So, possibly my second favourite death.
Mitzi's
death. Oh my god, this to me gave me the full Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe that I probably needed from this film. Was that slow run from the house after admitting the whole time that she was lying that she didn't get the part, after Pearl sort of like pulls it out of her, saying like, you got the part, didn't you, you fucking bitch, cunt, wank, shit-face, cunt ass bitch. And like Mitzi was like, but
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. And like Pearl was basically looking at her going like, you know what I'm gonna get now, right? And Mitzi's just like, you're gonna get the axe, aren't you?
It's very slow. It's very
Christina,
kind of like,
bring me the axe.
It was very that though, because it was also Mitzi kind of being like, if I just kind of move out of here very slowly, she won't notice that I'm moving.
It's very T-Rex moment.
Canonically, Pearl's vision is based on movement.
If Mitzi hadn't just slowly kept walking, she wouldn't have run after her with the axe. So,
exactly.
You know. Can I just say the tension of
Mitzi,
this...
freeze! hey! It's Mitzi running out of the farm with a flare to distract Pearl from the mom and dad or whatever. Oh god.
Oh my god. I do love the sort of tension that kind of racks up in that last shot where she does it lingers on Pearl, but Mitzi is still kind of slowly backing out of the room, and then she leaves through the screen door, and then she goes down the stairs and she starts walking quicker and quicker and quicker, and then Pearl just walks out, goes over, picks up the axe, and Mitzi still doesn't run. She still walks fast.
I think she thinks Pearl is going to beat her up. I don't think she thinks Pearl is going to kill her though.
Yeah.
You know?
And these whacks, they felt heavy, they felt bloody, and it was just glorious. I mean, like... Genuine Christian moment there.
I don't know what it is about like having a female serial killer in a movie though.
You just
kind of
root
like,
for her.
She's probably right.
In some way, she's probably right.
Serves some bloody right.
But these shots, so like the thing was that she was it transitions between Mitzi's murder and the shots of her bringing her parents, brushing out her mother's hair, which is like falling out of the stage. She's got one grey eye now at this point. Her dad is like rotting in the chair next to her, and she's setting up the dinner.
The dead mom in the vision for the
very
audition.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And she has
Grandpa's the
like
best
the
at
images, and then everyone in that judge's table it's her mother, it's her dad, it's the projectionist, and it's not Mitzi, it's someone else. Oh, it's Howard. Who is dead. Who she? I'm guessing she presumed he was dead.
She thinks she's. But so when the projectionist is giving her a lift home this morning, right before the audition.
Oh, she sees the soldier.
She sees Howard, but I was like, at first I was like, oh, it's a vision. I was like, no, because he saw him as well.
Yeah.
He's like, somebody you know or whatever. And she's like, I'm not sure. It's like, has Howard just been like on his way to the farm this whole time, or like what's the crack?
Yeah.
Because we only ever see Howard like 3 times in this movie. Again,
Yeah.
once in that little vision, once with the dream where he just blows the fuck
I
up.
love it. So Tarantino.
And then kind of, at the end where he comes back. But like, I was very shocked he wasn't in this.
Yeah.
More. Because
Yeah.
he was one of 2 antagonists in the last movie.
Yeah.
You know? Exactly. He did more killing than Pearl
He did more killing than Pearl, yeah.
You know?
Until she got sex and then she got stronger. You know,
Fuck
her
me,
mystical
Howard.
powers. Fuck
Emma
me, Howard.
still says that to me all the time. Just randomly.
So,
You and Emma were so grossed out at the idea of 2 people. It was the fact that it was 2 old people, but they were like kind of grotesque. But it was just like, me and Ash were like,
I don't think it was the fact that it was 2 older people. I think it was the fact that they were... Like, she was desperately trying to get him hard and it wasn't working.
use a dildo. That whole movie could have been, again, you have a cornfield right
Yeah!
there.
Wasn't that the fact that, like, had she just gotten a fucking dildo, she would have been fine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get yourself a dildo, girl.
So, like, the last kind of shots really are of... Mitzi getting hacked to bits, which
yeah.
I think I even said this to you in a message, was the fact that I loved the shot of like the arm getting whacked off and you could see like the separation of muscle and the arm bouncing, and then the head, the axe comes down on the neck and the head or the neck caves inward and then it separates and rolls away. I fucking loved it. That is how you do gore in a really well artistic way. That fucking bitch. Fuck you, Mitzi. Fuck you and your little dog too.
But for real, in my mind, I'm like, if we're going by movie character logic,
She's the cunt.
You could have you could have lied to me a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because it was just the fact that it was like, why did you come here? Did you? Did you sound so psychotic?
Did you
But
do
it's like,
this just to rub it in?
Well, yeah. In my mind, if I went for an audition and somebody came over to me or whatever like that just to tell me, it was like, why would you fucking tell me that?
Pearl was pretty much.
Tux, did you or did you not come for me?
That's what she did.
Sure did. First
That's
of all,
what Mitzi
you came
did.
You came to my house to tell me that you got good.
Level of unprofessionalism. Far too much.
For real, you should have kept that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Now I'm gonna.
But to be
put
fair
it to
though,
bits.
Pearl like also dragged it out of her after that monologue
Yeah,
for
but
her
why did
saying
you
that
come
she's
here in the
killed
first place,
people.
though?
Like yeah, she did.
She went there to tell
went there
Pearl
to
she
tell
got the
Pearl,
fucking
yeah.
part. You know, I don't know. I love the idea of Mitzi. I would love to see Mitzi's face during that whole dialogue though, because one of the first things she says is like, you know, sometimes Howard, I almost wish you, because she wants to practice on Mitzi as to what she's going to say to Howard
Mitzi
when Howard
says,
gets here.
I'm Howard. Tell me everything.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
And then she's basically like, you know, sometimes I wish you would fucking die in that fucking war because you fucking left me here.
Yeah,
bro.
she goes, is that wrong to say? And I don't think Mitzi even responded to
No,
it.
Mitzi doesn't say anything until she's literally like,
Well, Mitzi, my darling, here's your
great.
secret very well kept.
I'm gonna go.
But I love this ending shot. It's so Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
But
it's so
fucked.
good.
It's
so
so
fucking good.
It's just, so the credits come up. It's literally just like Finn or the end or whatever like that. Like again in the white font that just comes up on screen. But then it's just like 8 minutes of Pearl just like
She's like grimacing at the screen the whole time, and like you can see like this sort of, I don't know whether she was or wasn't, whether she was acting as she was in pain or not, but she looks like she was in pain.
because it starts off as like a
She gets redder and redder and redder, and she starts crying, and her teeth get like bigger and wider
it's
and like
demented as fuck.
so demented. And it's just kind of like the image of her like with that sort of slanted like trying not to
Through the
show like
entire credits.
it's 8 minutes of her just staring at you, and the image is just like burned into your retinas.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was so good. I gotta hand it to like Ty West, and also the fact that Mia Goth is a producer, a writer in this film, so she does help, or she has helped at least with like, how do I say it?
She
like,
gets to shape that character as well.
She gets to shape the character, but she also gives that. I'm gonna say the fact that obviously Ty West is a man, but like the sort of female spirit
It
to
is.
her
It's a very
performance.
feminine
Yeah,
movie.
you know what I mean?
Or the last one as well. It was kind of like I mean, they pick off the men first on purpose,
Yes.
so that it's kind of girl versus girl.
I love
this,
girl on
like-
girl action.
I love Mia Goth on Mia Goth action. But no, I think like it is a very kind of quintessentially kind of like feminine thing. Again, this is two men talking about it from the outside, but it's like you get that thing of like women are kind of valued, quote unquote, for their youth or their beauty or their talent or their subservience or what they can bring to a home or whatever, you know. But it's like once you have that weird bitterness of Pearl seeing Maxine and kind of being like, she has the exact same drive and the exact same want that I had when I was her age, but she has the freedom to go out and get it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why there's so much.
Pearl, in essence, if she was born around the same time as Maxine and she was growing up in the same era as Maxine, I don't know whether she would have the same liberties as Maxine in the 70s if Ruth, you know, if Pearl was set in the 70s, would Pearl have the same liberties as Maxine or a very watered down version of it, or would she still be the Pearl character? Would
I
she
think more
be...
so because Maxine never killed anybody to become a star. She just ran
That's
around.
true. That's true.
You know, like Pearl was willing to kill for it. You know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm very, very curious about how Maxine is going to turn out, because like I also
Like,
very
how
much so
is it-
liked the character of Maxine, but like the X was not about Maxine.
Yeah.
You know, it was very much so an ensemble kind of cast, and she just
She
I don't
just
think
happened to be the
there.
final girl.
Yeah. you
Well,
know.
because
they did
Jenna
kind of,
Ortega's character gets... she gets shot in the
She
face.
gets shot in the face and still doesn't die though. That's how Howard dies.
She gets blown out through the door.
Because I hate
love
you.
it.
Oh,
I love it.
that
It's so
same
good.
thing happened. I hate you, and then she ran off.
Yeah.
But that same thing happened in this movie.
The parallels, darling.
That is what I loved, though. I loved the parallels. Even when she's on the stage, she steps up on X marks the spot. It's just little small things.
Who's
like
got that X factor?
And
Which she doesn't have.
Oh yeah, and they tell her though that she doesn't have. Quite have that
she doesn't
X
have
factor.
it. Yeah, I love that sort of unhinged, crying desperation. Like she's being practically dragged off the stage.
Oh, they remove her. From
They
the building.
forcibly remove her from church.
Yeah.
And I just love it.
man.
Poor girl. So, if okay,
I love
considering
her.
it's a review out of 10, give it to me.
I'm gonna say like a 9. I had a really, really good time with this movie, and I've thought about it a lot since seeing. I saw it a couple of weeks ago before we actually decided to review it.
Yeah.
I think we decided kind of on the spot.
Pearl was kind of it. Yeah.
Because I was like, oh fuck it. Actually, I've been like waiting to do it, and we did X. But yeah, I think like an 8.5 or 9.
So I was gonna say, like, I mean,
Did you like it more than X?
I did, and you were right, because you had messaged me saying, I think you'll like this more. And I was like, I think it's because Pearl X is very definitely a slasher flick, for sure. And it's in the spirit of that, and I know what Ty West was going for.
I don't think it tried to be anything more than that.
Anything more than that, yeah. And I think Pearl elevated slasher to...
It's a tragedy.
A tragedy and a character-driven story.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I gravitated to Pearl more than I did X. And I think it's because... But also it's due to the fact that over the last, shall we say, 10 years, that we've gotten things like A24 that has really put to the forefront of horror more intelligent execution. So I think we're sort of...
to fold in on itself now, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's, I think, where we're sort of at this part where, like, I sort of expect it, not just of A24, but I'm expecting it of horror in general to be more intellectual and more interesting than just like, let's get to the next kill in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So I think,
that's why
there's nothing wrong with that.
Expectation for X. That's why I enjoyed X so much, because it gave me exactly what I expected.
But I think it suffered from, it's an A24 movie.
Yeah.
For me, it suffered from being, oh, it's A24, so I know it's going to be intellectual. But I guess it just didn't quite
sets
rub
it up
off
for
me.
failure almost, because you're
Exactly.
expecting so much from it.
So I think that's exactly what I mean. It set me
That was my
up for
problem with
failure
Men.
with X.
It's the fact that I did not like Men.
We're gonna get to that one.
But
That's
I did not
for sure.
like Men because I think that was set up to be this big like, and then the kind of
Execution,
was
not so
just,
much.
was
yeah.
just Men bad, right?
Yeah,
You know,
it was
like,
pretty much that's the only
there's no
storyline to
nuance.
it.
I feel like Men could have been better if it was made by a woman, though.
Yeah.
I think it's weird for that kind of movie to be made by a man, to just be like, see, I know
Same
men
guy
can
who
be
did
bad.
Annihilation.
Alex
Yeah.
Garland.
Yeah.
I liked Annihilation better.
Annihilation. Also, sorry, one side note that I forgot to say: Ruth, Pearl's mother, was actually a high priestess in Xena Warrior Princess. She's from New Zealand. She's not German at all. And I was like,
Well, the whole thing
"Oh
is shot
my
in New Zealand.
god, that is crazy!"
The whole thing is shot in New Zealand.
But I give Pearl. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to knock it because there was, again, I guess it does suffer from the A24 thing, where I did think there was certain things that could have been done a little bit better. Maybe so much about the father in particular, because I did think, apart from maybe he didn't have much to do with the plot, and as a writer myself, I don't particularly think if something doesn't have a build up, a Chekhov's gun and a payoff, there's not much point in it being there in the film or a story. So I do think something like the father could have been cut out entirely.
Well, the
and
father could have been already dead.
the father could have been dead the whole time, and we would have just understood the premise. You know what I mean? So things
Or
like
if the
that.
father had like just recently died or something like that, where it's kind of like
it would
he's
make
there
sense
kind of
more
just
to be
cannon
like
fodder.
start the film at the father's funeral.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it would have ramped up tension from there. But
Yeah.
that's kind of like my only thing. I loved the cinematography. I loved the filter that they had over the entire film. The dreamlike sequences. Mia Goth is an absolute knockout star from this film. 100%. The script, the acting, the soundtrack, the visual cues that it had, the callbacks obviously to X.
Yeah.
Everything was just chef's kiss.
I'm
It
hoping
really
that
was.
Maxine is kind of a good like meet up point, because Maxine.
I was gonna say, like, I hope it doesn't end up like something like Halloween Ends, where it's just like it's a disappointing wrap.
I honestly
you know?
don't think it is, because these were all kind of filmed back to back to back. I mean, I don't.
Wait.
Maxine was not filmed back to back with Pearl.
With
but, like,
Pearl,
X and Pearl were filmed
Back to back.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like literally at the same time. I'm just because it's Hollywood now.
Yeah.
And I love just that like chrome lettering that comes up.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yes. Like she's.
It's
gonna
set in
be,
the 80s.
It is set in the
Yeah.
80s in Hollywood, and I think it's going to focus on like the boom of like porn and porn
Yes.
actually becoming like readily available. I think she's going to become kind of a Linda Lovelace, you know. But that's straight up who they're basing her off of, though. That movie Deep Throat is like the first big porno to kind of like, it was in the cinema, like
I
in
mean, the
actual
eye
cinema
makeup and
cinema.
everything. I mean, it's an obvious nod.
I'm hoping they can make Maxine a very, very interesting character, because they didn't do much with her.
Yeah, they didn't give her much in X,
Other
which
than
I
she
think
wanted
was
to be a star, and that was her whole thing.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
fucking sex symbol, Wayne.
Which is why I think that reveal at the end was so far out of left field, that she's actually the daughter of that preacher that was on the TV the whole
Oh
time.
no!
And I was like,
that had been set up the whole movie.
no, like she never says anything about her past. She only says that she was running away from something.
Yeah.
And then that
I
was
will not
mentioned
accept a
once.
laugh I do not
It was
deserve.
mentioned once, and then the preacher shows up multiple times without Maxine in the shot, mind you. In the scene, Maxine doesn't show up a lot when the preacher is on the television. So anytime when it comes up at the end,
But
and
that's
then
Chekhov's
the
dad.
picture shows up at the end, maybe he will be part of the next.
Oh, I definitely think so.
I think he'll be in that.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how it's
I have
all
no
gonna
context for it apart from
I have a feeling
porn, 80s, and
Hollywood.
That's as much as I have.
I have a
for
feeling she'll be
reference.
blamed for all the murders in some way. Because,
It'll dog her for sure.
well, yeah, when they get that footage at the end, kind of Texas Chainsaw style, and he's like, oh, but there's one fucked up horror picture on here or whatever. But there isn't. None of that is on camera. The only thing that they have on camera is girls fucking.
Yeah.
You know, that's all. It isn't a Texas Chainsaw where there is footage of people getting fucked up or whatever. Like at the end, look at those two sheriffs we see at the start of Texas Chainsaw. I think it's all going to be pinned on Maxine. Because, like, why wouldn't it be? Mm-hmm. You know, there are all these dead bodies. That is actually always my issue at the end of horror movies. Is like, who's going to fucking take the blame for this? You can't tell the police it was a ghost. Or it was the devil. I don't understand. My daughter was possessed by the devil.
By the literal devil.
Okay, well, now there's two dead priests outside her fucking bedroom window. What about that?
Yeah. So, Pearl, 2022.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a solid, rated a solid X for sure.
Yeah, I liked it.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I did. Oh shit, I was not prepped for that.
Point blank, cutthroat, love it.
I thought we were over.
We still have to tell them what we're doing.
Next week,
tell
return
us what's
of the
next week.
slab.
The slab. Come up to the lab.
Yeah, we haven't done one of these in a long while. I actually didn't even remember the last one that we did. Go listen to that.
It's on our YouTube channel. It's under the slab topic playlist. You will find all of the episodes available. Our last one was actually ghosts. You have a terrible memory.
I'll take your word for it. It was like
we talked about some really cool things, especially like things like the Banshee, because like everyone and their fucking mother has had a ghost sit at the end of their fucking bed. Just look at the spike up there. So next week on the slab, we decided that we're going to talk about something very, very interesting, which we will do like multiple iterations of, because it's such a huge broad topic and very beloved by both of us as lovers of the macabre and the weird.
It's almost like its own little sub-series.
Yeah. So we're doing a cult, bitch.
We're doing a cult, but like in kind of the broadest sense. Like this is not going to be
it's an umbrella term, shall we say.
This is not going to be a 2-3 episode thing. I kind of imagine us doing this for however long.
An extended period of time, shall we say?
Yeah, like you could literally have an entire fucking library on this topic.
Yeah.
I don't know how we could like condense it down. But we are going to surprise each other.
Yes. We're not going to tell each other the like, so for Lee is going to go for the real world.
Yes.
Occult side of things. So for example, you have Anton LaVey, you have the Manson family, shit like that. Whereas I'm going more
Crowley,
esoteric.
yeah.
Crowley, exactly. I'm going more esoteric, more mythological and biblical and shit like that.
Intangible.
So I'm going into like stuff like biblically accurate angels, Baphomet, Baron Samedi, all of these type of occult mythologies, and because I'm a total fucking mythos nerd. So the Sweet King, get an extra 5% off our already 70% Black Friday sale with the Sweet King. I thought I fucking blocked their number. Yeah, so this Friday coming, we are going to have a slab episode.
Woo! Yeah,
so excited for that. So, I hope you liked the episode. Like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to follow us on Instagram. Wipe that little white off the chin there, babe. And
get out of my house!
Let us know what you thought of Pearl. And hope you liked the episode. So, yeah, bitch. You've been listening to They're Here. You didn't fucking do it with me.
Fat fucking cock, bro.
So we've been shiting on too long. Yeah, okay, fuck off. Next week is the slab and we're doing a cult.
4.
Fuck off.